Hello, and welcome to Year of the Vampire. Today we watched Daybreakers.
You keep saying day, but we do this every week, not every day. Oh god, every day would be horrible. I like watching movies, and vampire movies are cool, but like doing 365 of these little videos in a year would be just hell.
I mean, I guarantee there's enough vampire movies to do that, though.
Are you sure?
I mean, I'm not sure if I want to ask for a list of that many vampire movies, but
if anyone has a list of all vampire movies, be sure to tell us. No one wants that list.
I mean, do it. Just do it. Anyways, this is Daybreakers, and by all accounts, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not super old by any stretch, but...
2011, so 14 years old.
First time I watched this was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was heavily edited. So.
First time I watched it was in theaters, and it wasn't edited at all.
I mean, that was
other than the actual special effects that were edited into the movie.
But
all right, so our usual plot points or discussion points. Plot. What'd you think of the plot? Disease happens, turns people into vampires. Vampires take over the world and use regular humans as cattle.
Yeah, it's basically overpopulating and slowly wiping out humans because they drink human blood.
Oh, don't worry, it was going to start wiping out the vampires after all the humans were dead too. I think it's an interesting story. It's definitely not like
it's a lot more unique than a lot of them, at least for the time it was.
I think I've heard of similar stories in 2011. I'm not saying it's like entirely unique, but I think how it all went down was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty.
The way they cured vampirism was kind of silly, but
it's the sun and water, of course, but and then maybe some air, the elements and whatnot.
All right, so to cure vampirism, we just need the avatar. Got it. Acting. How was the acting? What did you think of the acting?
It's good. It was good. It was,
I like the acting.
Regular Hollywood acting. Nothing seemed stiff or awkward by all accounts. So.
I mean, I thought a couple things were stiff and awkward, but I think you get that once in a while, especially in horror movies. Sometimes you just get lines that are just kind of weird sounding.
Yeah, it can come off a little silly sometimes, I suppose. Like maybe Frankie, I suppose. Was that his brother's name?
Frank, yeah.
Frank is like just... He wasn't like the most favorite character of mine, I guess.
No, I didn't like him.
I don't think he was supposed to be likable, though, so...
I mean, Sam Neill wasn't supposed to be likable either, but...
Sam Neill is so cool.
I mean, it's not him going up against velociraptors and T-Rexes and such, but... Or going crazy in space and being possessed by a hell spaceship.
Or just running in the wilderness with some random kid.
Yeah, wait, what movie is that? Because I know I was referencing Jurassic Park and Event Horizon, but
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Wilder.
It's a New Zealand film.
Yeah. Sound and music.
It was good.
Yeah.
Blended well. I mean, it's just...
The last couple movies we watched haven't really had much in the way of music. So I actually am glad to get back to like an actual Hollywood production.
I mean, as far as like 2010 was it?
11.
It sounds basically from the time. So like just nothing bad about that.
Lots of horns in the soundtrack. You noticed the horns, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of horns. But
anyone making vampire movies, be sure to put lots of horns in the background music. Cinematography, like how it was shot, I don't really have any complaints. Like we were saying, it's a big budget movie. It was a Blumhouse feature, I think. Lionsgate. Lionsgate. Yeah. So yeah, like it was shot competently. Obviously, it was a Lionsgate movie. It had probably a decently large budget.
It had a lot of like a few fast-paced scenes, but nothing felt like it would drag or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like a lot of
It felt
movies
more
these
like-
days where you get like lots of really quick scenes, like you said, where it just jumps around and it's kind of disorienting.
It was well paced, but more than anything, it felt more like an action thriller than it did an actual horror thing. But my
think it was
God,
meant to
did
be
it
a
get
horror
bloody
movie.
though?
Yeah, I mean it's a vampire movie. I don't want to say you can't have a vampire movie without blood. We watched Morbius, and that had practically no blood.
Okay, let's put it flat out here. If there is not blood, it is not going to be a good vampire movie. Make it rated R and have blood literally raining from the skies.
Morbius was at least entertaining, but yeah, it could have used more actual blood, but I get where they were coming from. It was a PG-13 comic book movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't Deadpool we're talking about. Special effects.
Well, there was a lot of blood.
I did think some of the CG doesn't hold up as well.
I've definitely seen things age worse, but like I guess
I've seen things age better too.
The eyes, by all accounts, I guess you could say it stuck out slightly. Not
that was because the eyes were yellow.
way.
They were
I mean,
vampires. I meant like I don't know. There were some more actiony CG parts, like the freaking Jeep exploding. Like that was kind of silly.
Okay, that part was kind of unintentionally funny because the car slid across these like two beams because this bridge was like barely holding on.
It just the beams just
dropped after the car went across, and the Jeep, for whatever reason, despite being at least 10, 20 feet behind the car, didn't even bother slowing down.
So the guys inside just got impaled and exploded because when you impale a vampire in this world, they just explode into flames, and that somehow blew the entire vehicle up.
Okay, I will admit that caught me off a bit at first, but I still found it entertaining that they just kind of blow up.
The dude exploding near the beginning caught you off guard too.
Yeah, that really caught me off guard. Yeah, the blood
I do think some of the CG is obviously a little dated. It's an almost decade and a half old movie, but overall,
for the most part, it held up as good as you'd expect it to.
Yeah, I honestly really like this movie. I haven't watched it as much as I would have liked to, like since it came out, but because I've only seen it like a small handful of times, but I really do enjoy this movie. I think it, for the most part, has held up well, and I definitely think more people should watch it if they haven't watched it.
Definitely.